A street food vendor arrested at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign earlier this month after pushing an officer. A new law is meant to prevent conflicts like this.
Tonight we have new information about the new street food vending law that came out during a town hall meeting in East Las Vegas.
Fox 5's Kim Passoff was there and joins us now at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign.
Yeah, so tonight vendors were given these Know Your Rights cards that they can hand to officers if there's an issue with communication. Of course, this comes after the conflict earlier this month between the officer and the street food vendor here at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. This is somewhere where vendors are not legally allowed to operate. A packed town hall for street vendors at the Hollywood Rec Center in East Las Vegas, informing them of their rights with the recent passage of a new law. Teodora Tepetsi Serrano has been a street vendor for more than 20 years in Las Vegas, selling street corn, shaved ice, and chips.
Esperanza de que podemos trabajar con dignidad y en paz.
She's basically, she's a little bit stressed about it. She is very hopeful about what's coming up with this new bill. She's going to be able to work peacefully, freely. So this is a great thing for her.
Elected officials and advocacy group Make the Road Nevada hosting the event to answer questions after the street food vending bill passed during this year's legislative session to ensure that vendors have accurate and updated information and also a timeline on when permits will be issued. State Senator Fabian Doñate championed the bill to ensure that street food vendors have a pathway to legally operate.
At the end of the day, these street food vendors have to operate with a business license and a health permit, and so we expect, hopefully within the next few months, that they follow and operate the same way that other businesses do.
This show of hands, street food vendors who say they want to be able to operate without fear. There's often a language barrier for vendors. A lawyer informed vendors who only speak Spanish they can always request a translator if questioned by a police officer. And if arrested, they always have the right to a lawyer. And a big clarification tonight, street vending is not legal, nor has it ever been, and will not be here at the Welcome sign on the Strip near Allegiant or Fremont Street. Those permits that are being issued, those will be for neighborhoods. Reporting live tonight, Kim Passoff, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
And there will be several more town halls as street food vending regulations are created. They'll have to be completed by July 1st next year. Licenses must begin to be issued by that date.